This is Countdown to Economic Collapse, April 29th, 2012. I'm David John Sponheim, running for president under America's Third Party. Well, we are seeing the same thing happen all over again. The European Union is still getting into a crisis mode. Spanish debt is extensive. The amount of money they have to pay on the bond issues, just to pay people for those bond issues, is getting too high. And many people believe that the European Central Bank will be called into question. They're going to have to be drawing more money from that fund, the slush fund that keeps getting smaller and smaller. When is it all going to end? Well, in America, we've got our own problem. We've got our own budgetary crisis. The Republicans and Democrats can't come up with any big solutions to the budget crisis. Every year this happens. And this jogging back and forth is causing nothing but friction between our senators and congressmen and women, and we're seeing nothing getting accomplished. The recent thing on the table is student loans. They're going to have an interest increase, and they're going to have a $6 billion interest added to students that are out there not even paying their loans as it is. So the student loan debacle is coming. The Republicans want to cut that $6 billion off just to win votes, and they want to draw from Obamacare. That's right, there's a certain fund in Obamacare that's $16 billion designed to give administrative costs to people who are supposedly saving money on Medicare Advantage. It's weird, the Democrats set this up so that they pay people extra bonuses to lower Medicare Advantage payouts to people, rationed health care for elderly people, for instance. Republicans now want to draw from that fund, that $16 billion. And they reminded the Democrats that the Democrats wanted to draw from that same fund when they wanted to lower payroll taxes just to get votes. This is all about getting votes, folks. Perks that they think, the Democrats and Republicans think, will win them votes among the middle class. I personally think the middle class is smarter than that. They realize that what's really happening is the entire budget is defaulting, and our dollar is being printed up rapidly by the Federal Reserve, and it's weakening everybody's savings accounts. And the money we spend at the market is eaten up in inflation. Inflation is like a hidden tax. The more inflation we have, the more they gouge at our savings and our income. So I believe that there's some key solutions to this, and that would be obviously to increase jobs. And this is where I differ from Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. I actually want the government to create jobs. I want the government to actually do something, innovate, produce, for instance, low-cost, highly efficient solar panels. Let's just grab the reins of the solar industry and begin pulling our country up by the bootstraps. This is something that can be done simply by taking one industry, making it work. Maybe that industry could be centralized or regionalized. We could have various production centers, West Coast, East Coast, Mid-Atlantic. Anything to produce something that we can actually save money in the long run on. And I choose solar panels because I still believe that if we invest in infrastructure, we'll be creating jobs and we'll be lowering our electric costs big time across the board. A solar rooftop program is a simple idea. This is one of the many ideas that we have in our green-friendly approach to building up America. We are the green essential alternative to the Democrats and Republicans. At America's Third Party, our primary goal is to innovate with renewable, clean, green technologies, which will stimulate jobs and, of course, solve the environmental crisis that every country in the world is facing, which means we'll be able to sell our items and export them overseas. Now, the crisis in the retail sector is occurring at a time that we didn't even expect it to happen, but here it is. Just like I said, Best Buy. People are going in there, they had a couple of good quarters. They're downsizing 50 stores, and they're firing their CEO for personal reasons. But companies like Best Buy are facing the real crisis, and the crisis is spending. People are not spending money in our economy except to go to restaurants. I'm sure many restaurants are profiting. Some restaurants are going public, like Outback. They're talking about getting a public stock out there, but those are the restaurants that cater to people that make a lot of money. People that are on a fixed income or a pension plan, they go out to Outback and have a big steak dinner, believe me. They're not worried at all because you know something? The system that the Democratic Socialists put in play about 20 years ago is now costing every state a huge amount of money. $2 trillion is going to be spent out in pension funds over the next 10 years. We don't have it. It's there, but it's buried in every single state budget. The Comprehensive Annual Financial Review, CAFR, for every state shows a huge amount of money inside of these pension plans. The California pension plan is one of the richest. It's got about $159 billion waiting to pay out to California workers. Well, the kind of workers they're going to draw on this are people like lifeguards that worked for 25 years and now want to retire at 50 and collect over $100,000 per year. This is the system that's in play. Now, are you going to make $100,000 a year in retirement? I guarantee most people are not. There's only about 2.3 million people who are going to collect that kind of pension money in their retiring years. 2.3 out of 310 million people. Our future is bleak. The average American is not going to have anything to survive, and Social Security, they say, is going to be dried up by 2027, 2030. And Obama is talking about how disability is going to dry up by 2016. You see, Obama has outspent Bush, and this excessive amount of spending is costing our country dearly. Since he took office, we're over $5 trillion in debt, over and above what we were going to be in debt with because of Obama. And many people want him reelected. And ironically, Obama has about a 12% lead on Mitt Romney. And that's partly because the Republicans can't come up with a decent candidate to take him on, a guy who has some spirit and passion. Mitt Romney is flat as a doorknob. He just doesn't have what it takes to excite the American people. We need a person with drive, vigor, motivation, and innovation, and that would be me. I want to get into the mainstream media before the end of this election, and I don't care if it's a write-in candidacy that I'm running. I want to spike political activity and get this nation going in a direction that'll make a difference for everybody, that'll be positive, that will start to show promise. Right now we've got a lot of people that are depressed. Most people aren't spending money. We're doing things personally as average Americans to save money. And I'll show you exactly what we're doing right now. And this is something you can do to conserve as this economy continues to put the screws down on every one of us. Okay, so what we'll do is take a look at how we're saving money at the average American level, how we're cutting costs, and this is exactly the kind of thing that everybody's going to be doing in the future to create a sustainable personal economy, so you don't go deep into debt. I'll give you a little tour of the house, too. Okay, so here we go. We're going to take a look at how we're saving money in America by doing our own flooring. Check this out. We have a deck which is in distress.
Well, it's a cedar deck.
Exactly, it's a cedar deck, and Sarah said that we have cedar under there, and of course I painted it with latex paint a while back, a few years ago, and now we have to take the latex paint down.
I wasn't at home to stop him.
Right.
Oh well.
Oh well, so check this out. She's taking a knife and scraping every little bit of that paint off. And I've got a sandblaster, and I'm doing the same thing over here. I'm going to give you guys, watch your ears, here we go. But this kind of job would cost a sandblaster a lot, okay? We'd have to pay a lot to do this, and this whole job would cost perhaps $1,000 or $2,000, but we're doing it for, what, $20 in polyurethane paint? So all of this is possible if we think of ways of saving money and becoming more green friendly. Oh, sure, we could take chemicals and completely burn this deck, and it would be an investment of about $30 or $40, and it would bubble up. But all those chemicals would be in our environment. So
Save the planet.
Save the planet. We don't want to kill the environment by destroying a beautiful area that we live and spend the rest of our life living. Think about it. I believe in a fair flat tax. I believe in a way in which we all could save a lot of money on our taxes, and the big guys like ExxonMobil will have to pay their fair share. We've got all this outlined at America's Third Party in our platform, and you can even buy a book and read it online called Hybrid Capitalism. Introducing Hybrid Capitalism, making the government accountable, getting a return on investment, and saving you tax dollars. Let's end the Fed, end the reckless printing of money, and save our nation from an economic collapse. This book is all about the simple solutions that we need to do and employ to get people jobs in America. I'm David John Sponheim, and I support this message.
ATP, you and me.